out straight away after a bit of a break, and staying present always very, very difficult. So w7m starting off on the T side, bit of utility, in fact the same utility for both the players that are carrying it, and it looks like more of an A-sided play. Arkinya on the P2K, fancying her chances around the corner, doesn't find the head but does find some damage.
Yeah, the problem is she hasn't actually spotted a great deal. We can see on the minimap w7m are taking masses of space out here towards long. Little C found nice timing on this connector push. This duel is so massive, and actually she's going to get out of dodge. And it's only now they spot the long flank, and these rotates need to come thick and fast. MIBR need to reposition.
Yeah, dangerous plays ahead here. Smoke's coming over the top. Clearly got a bit of an idea. Yedina holding from behind. It's Kara that finds the second, but 2 quick kills coming in for the T side. Deep in towards bank they go. The backside plant on to Dice. So w7m clearly coming in, at least with the pistol, with a clear game plan. It's just going to be Hera against 4 now. There's a kit drop somewhere. She had all these nades. She was hoping to get down somewhere, but just never really given the chance. Head finally felled, and that'll be the pistol going the way of w7m, and a pretty impressive put together round there.
Scary stuff to find the pistol already on T side overpass. Of course, the reinvestment is bound to come in from MIBR scouting play, a couple of deagles, few nades. But off the information we have from map number 1, w7m were looking pretty clean up against the pistols, and I wouldn't expect that to change, especially on their map pick.
Well, 3 down long, looking to take a leaf from the w7m book, and with a bit of help, Little Z able to find Brunner. So Galil dropped. They're not going to get greedy for it. It is just the advantage that they were looking for. Meanwhile, out towards B, you know, you've got that info in that the B-bomb side a bit more vulnerable. Perfect nade to soften them up here. Flashes are kind of difficult for Yedina, but she still manages to find one, sets up another. And now the 3-on-3 coming in with control of the site. Now, Akinya's got a kit, but when you're on these weaker weapons, you know, they're much more rigid in the way that you can use them. It makes things very difficult on the retake. However, w7m still giving opportunities across, and now just 2 Ts remaining.
Yeah, Kara didn't need to peek there. She definitely should have just waited. Let another teammate take contact. Now there's so many players trying to swing out from this pit position. Nade onto the bomb. That's not going to do a lot of damage, but Toffa here baited in. They didn't expect a player in towards jail. Little Z finds the trade. But with no kit and a lot of ground to cover. Actually, kit is recovered. Sticking the bomb, the spam from the USP isn't connecting. Knife is in play, and oh no. What should have been an absolute slam dunk for w7m falls by the wayside, and a much needed piece of luck in this series for MIBR. It wasn't going well towards the end of Vertigo, but this was exactly what they needed. The full reset to start off map number 2.
Yeah, very, very nasty to deal with there, isn't it, as well? Difficult round to stomach. Certainly hurts. Certainly hurts. w7m will see what their answer is into this round. They themselves with the buy back in to keep the pressure on, and of course it is just natural. But certainly going to have to get a return on this investment, I would say, to be honest with you. Yes, you're on the T side and things are generally cheaper than the CTN, but it still really hurts financially. Triple nade coming in. Oh, close. Fly wasn't boosted up, and that third nade was a little late, it seems, as well. So again, scratching up on things like that. Fly will be left on 22 HP, certainly going to help into the latter stage of the round. Arkinya and Kizia through the smoke, though. Massive, massive damage as well as a kill, but Fly does get felled.
Still looking for fights here is Arkinya, kind of playing with fire, I think. A little bit trapped on this left side. Kizia there has no nades either to bail her out, but I guess frags will do in this situation, as w7m have decided these sites too much to ask for. We're going to reset with the bomb, and it's only Yedina here sticking around. A little bit more kind of gap around the smoke, but spam's going to dissuade us. So the round slows down. It just feels like unless w7m score an amazing entry off the back of a deagle, it's going to be so difficult to open up a bomb site.
Yeah, Hera in this spot as well is pretty difficult to deal with. They seem to really like this smoke that covers off that left-hand side, though, to try and get in behind. It's just not going to work this time around. Might work in the pistol. Way less resistance, you know, and you can just sort of rush them down with Glocks, but obviously the weaponry just too strong from MIBR.
Force buy doesn't pay out. Gonna have to eat the eco here at w7m, and should have been an amazing start to their map pick on the T side with the pistol. It's flipped and flopped. It's back in the hands of MIBR there in the driver's seat, banking up cash, even recovered an AK onto Arkinyo. You always like to see that one. And yeah, if w7m can even find a plant on this round, it's going to be a result. They've decided, keep it simple. Glock train towards long. They should be right-clicking. I want to hear the snakes.
Trying to go for the quick throwaway round, though, here. Maybe get some cheekiness going and overwhelm some of the players, but the crossfire too strong. And it will be a flawless round coming in from MIBR, so building up some real cash here on the CT end of things. w7m, first official rifle. Let's see what they have in store.
As a reminder, and as we can see in the top right, first map was Vertigo, a map pick of MIBR, went side of their opponents. And this is the pick of aforementioned w7m. We're expecting some aggressive stuff. Both teams deciding, be short, I want a piece of that. And as it results, nobody has be short, and nobody has the fifth player. All square here.
Yeah, a little bit of a weird game state after that. Tara, though, has been pushing in solidly. That's unfortunate for Toffa. Can't quite get the frag on towards Fly. 4-on-3 in favor of MIBR then. And w7m, they're just sort of sending players all over the shop, trying to find openings. On A, it's Bruno.
It's a good reaction, though, isn't it? You've shown a lot of presence towards B. So why not lurk out A and try and find a player in the open? And Middle Z there had no idea a player could have sneaked up so up close. Smoke as well to block off CT. The only issue is the bomb is still a long way off. So if MIBR get out quickly, they can still isolate this one player on the site.
Yeah, very true indeed. We'll see. Oh,
or the open plant.
Yeah, it's kind of risky, isn't it, to be honest? Juliana has to cover off, and cover off well. Will indeed do so. Arkinya going down. And the confidence not really there from Herrick to go for the trade, and now this crossfire is pretty scary. More of a trade setup, I suppose, but nonetheless, it all works out well. And those retakes we were talking about that did not look good on Vertigo certainly rearing their ugly heads a little bit there in round number 5.
That was so nerve-wracking. And they went for the really open plant here. I guess the issue was that they'd both come from long, so they were really scared of a connector flank. It just feels like you are so exposed if a player swings, but I don't know. Proof, I guess, is in the pudding. It still worked out. And aggressive mid coming out from w7m. A great change of pacing here. We haven't seen this one yet.
Something a bit speedier and hanging around the smoke. Going to go for a boost over it. Can't spot anyone, though. Not a bad idea around the smoke there. But yeah, nothing coming off the back of it. So just going to be the slow build-up once again. Looking like a bit more of an A play.
Yet to find any toilets control here are the offense. And Hera is the one right now still capitalizing on that. The problem is, don't get to find any noise cues, and Hera had to win that duel. I guess she gets a little bit of information. It didn't. Look at these lurks. Every round script, there's always a player on the other side of the map waiting to capitalize on the space taken. It's really on fly styles to do work around the truck. All free frags. No opportunities for a trade from Bruna. She's too far back. And just like that, from a man advantage to a terrible position here for w7m, and it's been all fly style, having a lot of fun from the truck position.
Yeah, easy stuff. Very, very easy stuff for Fly. And w7m, you know, that's how it goes, right? One little angle overlooked, and all of a sudden, your world comes crashing down. So yeah, we saw a bit more proactivity from them, a bit faster, a bit more aggressive into the early round, but there just wasn't really anything presenting itself, and in the end they let it slip. So MIBR CT side looking a bit better now. W7M, if they can get the bomb down a bit more consistently, then maybe things would indeed pan out for them, but at the moment struggling to do so.
Yeah, I think there was a molly there that looked a little bit missed. I'm not sure if it was meant for truck and didn't hit the position, but I think needs to be doing a little bit more of your utility. Maybe even the entry flashes weren't quite perfectly timed, because I don't think a player should be able to take that many fights from truck without at least facing a little bit more resistance just in terms of the utility. But can't take anything away from Fly. She's bringing the style points here on CT side. And they were going to triple nade the boost, but they decided to change it around. Monster instead. Oh, how did that not do more damage?
Again, the nades. You know, it's someone...
Look how close they are to. You can see where they blew up on the ground.
Yeah.
6 inches away. Did 6 damage.
Yeah, I mean, look, I suppose you got to be careful, right? Molotovs are pretty powerful. Nades, we'd like them to be better, but if they were, can you imagine, like, how much you could get away with? So, maybe I can see where the game's coming from. But at the same time, like, come on now. They've used, what, 3 or 4 nades? It should be a kill. But whatever. That's fine. That's all good. Looking good here for MIBR for the most part. Now, you didn't on this AK still being a bit troublesome. The rest of the squad, unfortunately, you know, not really able to work around her, bait things out for her, or even find damage of their own. So they'll go for another cheeky boost. They've got a good few of these in the back pocket, don't they? But nothing coming once again.
More of a half buy anyway, so shouldn't be too disappointed with how it's played out. But the defense has been rock solid on A this time around, and Little Z, I guess we have to give a shout out, already up to 11-2. And even in spite of the team's kind of troublesome CT campaign on Vertigo, she still was getting a lot of opening picks. So Little Z, straight up, I'm not sure what more she could be doing for a team. A lot of work, a lot of opening kills, and when it comes to the late site defenses, there's always money for a couple.
Pause coming through here. W7M, I would imagine, wanting to iron things out ahead of this next rifle round. But both sides, I'm sure, will be happy for a bit of talking time. So, interested to see what MIBR change up here a little bit. I think W7M have been pretty original with the way these rifle rounds are. Yeah, each one feels quite different. But MIBR perhaps starting to get a bit more predictable as it goes on.
Yeah, I think what we've seen so far from W7M is a lot of varied openings, some nice defaults. It's more like stage 2, stage 3, working your way up is maybe a little bit lacking, might be a bit extreme to say, but not ideal. And clearly MIBR, come the site hits, are capitalizing. So again, we've got some early map control, but what do you do? That's not enough. We still need to hit a bomb site. How do you progress from here?
Yeah, smoke going to keep them at bay for now. Need to be careful. Some of the earlier rounds definitely taking way more damage through the monster smoke than I think, you know, you ever really should. Utility coming over the top. Flash to boot. Kizia, very blind. There comes the anti-flash player of Arkinia, though, and it works out beautifully, doesn't it? Fly's gone down. Again, over on the top side, I believe. Bruna continuing to be a thorn, but will be traded. Kara, the only one left, and these setups from MIBR are looking pretty damn deadly. W7M cannot get through.
Yes, indeed. I mean, clearly, as we saw on that one, the kind of the bait and switch on towards Monster, even though I think it was Kizia, wasn't it? Further back, got heavily blinded by the entry flash. It didn't matter. Had a teammate up close and all you need to do is hold down mouse 1 in such a tight choke point, and it's probably still going to work out. But what we're seeing right now from w7m is that if the CT side plays it correctly, they have nice crossfires, good setups. You need to do something to open up a position to go into it. And in that round, they B defaulted and immediately went into a B hit with an A lurk. And unfortunately, we want to see a bit more pressure on towards A to pull a rotation, or potentially hitting B without as many Qs. You know, we need to try and force a rotation, because if we just go in telegraphed, a team like MIBR that has all the setups, they're going to have a field day.
Well, we'll see on the half by here with a bit of utility to boot what they can get done. Fly, we saw from this position get an awful lot last time round. Only one this time. Going for the bomb plant. Nice safe plant, in fact, which is, you know, a nice touch. However, still found through the smoke with the AWP. Little Z finding another. Round looking good here, isn't it? As they all fall down. Little Z with the 3K to make sure. However, the plant does indeed come in, which was the ultimate goal of that round for w7m.
Yeah, Little Z, though. Still a big Z right now. 15-2. Doing work. Carrying a lot of weight. And for those that have watched Strongman, you'll understand the big Z reference right there. But yeah, I'm not sure there's a great deal of Counter-Strike World's Strongest Man crossover. Maybe I'm wrong.
No, yeah, no, that's true. Maybe we need to get Eddie Hall, you know, doing so. I doubt he can really bend his arm very well, though. That's actually a fair point for massive arms. You know, they'd really have to be elbow. No,
yeah, they can be wrist
players,
aimers.
you know what I mean? Yeah. It just wouldn't work. So that's probably why we don't see a lot, because it's actually kind of difficult. You know, you can only dedicate your life to so many things, Alan.
I want to do both.
Well, you know, you'd be the first.
Try me. But anyway, I guess we should focus a little bit more on the CS. Astralis set up here in the toilets. Old school one on the cards. Little Z knows their angles playing wide, and clearly Bruna unsuspecting. And even if they force this AWP back, the bait and switch will come into play. She's going to fall off the angle, and now the rifler up close and personal. Swings out for the trades. 3 kills for 1 death. You take that any day of the week, and the setup works perfectly. And that's exactly what we've seen so far, Scrib, is simple but coordinated setups, and w7m just can't break them.
Yeah, 100%, right? And this is kind of what we were talking about a little bit more, right? You have more flexibility, I suppose, in terms of how you approach rounds on that CT side of things. I think MIBR struggled on Vertigo to find these same sorts of holds, and individually, Little Z, as you can see, and I think across the board, for me, definitely feel like the better team. Right, w7m have got a few, but all 5 feel better than all 5 of w7m, and that's really coming to a head here on Overpass. So yeah, really simple stuff, and it's working, and that's kind of the worrying thing. w7m, maybe as soon as they start to crack some of these, either another setup comes out, something a bit different, some crazy aggression or something, right? They're going to have to deal with an awful lot, even if they do start winning the rounds. So yeah, MIBR in prime position once again, but they were kind of here last time on Vertigo. So hedge your bets a little bit, maybe. We'll see. Another timeout coming through as well. There's that fantastic setup, and it is actually MIBR pulling it out.
As we saw in the replays, though, that's kind of what I'm referring to when I'm saying stage 1, you put down that toilet smoke, the molly onto the divider or the sandwich side, then you work up. But there's another stage on A. You need to clear out the toilets. You need to be comfortable with the utility, with the trading, with the angles. And that's maybe where we've seen a few too many slip-ups from w7m. So it's going to be really difficult to correct that in-game. But I'm sure on seeing the demo back, they'll realize that, guys, or girls, I guess, we need to be on the same page a little bit more here. And right now it's costing them, and they are running out of opportunities to get up a reasonable T-side round wall. They need to switch it up, because on their map pick, so far we haven't seen enough.
Short control coming in here then off the back of Kara. Oh, quite quickly. Could get the catch. They're not necessarily in position just yet, but Not going too deep. Lil Z, meanwhile, on top of the flower bed, will get caught. Sticking around, though, again. Got the support of the rifler. They've been working very well together in these past few rounds. Flash over the top to try and re-peek the rock. Dangerous game. Both sides. Bullets narrowly missing on either side of the equation. Trying to close the gap. Quick flash comes in. Can't get the spin around, though, onto Hera. Meanwhile, Arkinia finds herself a frag over on B, that was. Juliana, meanwhile, trading out Hera here. So 3-on-3, but the A bomb site itself is pretty vulnerable with only Fly ready and waiting. But she's going to get aggressive, try and retake some control towards long. Does so successfully. With 35 seconds left, w7m stuck for ideas.
I'm making the right call, though. Door is blown here on Underpass, so they can get out without making too many noise cues. And as of yet, as we can see on the mini-map, very much an A-lean from MIBR, and it's only now that Flystyle is taking that information. But I guess the real kicker is there's no smoke script, there's nothing to go up here onto Heaven, and Arkinia is surely going to get some opportunities. Bit of a tag onto Toffer. Now the rotating coming with 7 seconds remaining. Of course, the bomb has to be stuck. They know a player is definitely stuck default, and that's the remaining one in Toffer. Finds the first, but isolating any jewels here. I'm surprised she found 2. It was a brilliant go, but just too much to deal with.
Yeah, one of the closer rounds that we've definitely had, right? I think they were dealt a bit of a bad hand with the A play. It looked relatively good, but couldn't quite get in. Rotate it back around, like you say, running out of utility and whatnot makes it difficult, but certainly one of the better attempts. Although, how much do you put on a failed clutch, right? There's maybe a conversation to be had about that I'm sure we could talk about at great length. So it looks close in the end, but how close is it really, I suppose, is the big question. MIBR, not too bothered. Things looking good, keeping it cool. Another timeout coming in for them. Really showing a lot of respect across to their opponents and making sure this time that they don't let such a dominating scoreline slip through their fingers.
Yeah, and of course, thinking back to the first map, we didn't see many pauses. I'm not sure we saw any from MIBR, to be honest. So somebody between the maps has said, guys, we've got to make use of these. We can't be letting opportunities slip away. And it's really good to see teams in the lead recognizing that we can still take these pauses and get value. And you can see off the back of this pause script a 4A stack. This might be the ace up the sleeve. Crazy call coming out, but it could just pay off.
Oh, we'll see, shan't we? You know, you got to bear in mind, yes, you call them, but those timeouts, of course, can be used by both sides. w7m looking to get some control once again in towards the B area. Looks like they're going for the boost up here, of course. It's being watched for. Slowly edge over. And, well, now there's no one left at barrels. Meanwhile, in the playground, Hera hears him. Needs to find the right moment to strike, though. And always certainly easier said than done. Might just get the kill on a silver platter, though. The bomb going to be recovered. And, yeah, they didn't clear out their angles. They will now have to pay a big price for that, but we'll see. This could get a little weird. Pressure over on B is looking good. Kara runs out of ammo, but gets traded at the very least. Meanwhile, what is Hera to do? Yeah, just sort of trapped in. No one. It's like, it's great. It's like, you want the kill. Maybe you don't want the kill with the bomb, because then you know everyone's going to come towards you. You don't have any support, and you're just going to get outnumbered.
Bit of a shame, though, our teammates died on B before they could really exploit that knowledge. I guess that's where the real gap in the defense was kind of sprung from. Coming into this after plant scenario, Molly on to default. The bomb is still going to get planted. There's only 6 seconds remaining, and it's a little bit close on the timer, but another 1-on-3. These girls to try and pull off. Baited there by the running player under the Heaven, but can't clutch it out. So 3 on the board for w7m. A little bit of a resurgence here towards the latter end of the half, but realistically, 5, I guess, is a minimum from here, and 6 is going to be tricky, but we'd really like to see it.
All right, Lil Z trying to get above the smoke. And will indeed manage to find a frag. Beautiful opener into a round like this where you want to answer back quickly. So w7m. Jeez, you were adding an S in there. My mouth just stopped working.
It's because of VSM.
Yeah, a little.
And when I see, of course, in a lot of languages, the W is even pronounced as a V. So my brain was immediately saying, oh, it's VSM. He's back again. But it's not. And we were wrong.
But nonetheless, they've started this round in a pretty dire situation. And recovering back into it, really going to be tough. The round's down. So starting with a disadvantage. Have to see what their metal is made of.
Trying to seek out an opportunity, bit of a boost. Trying to have a kind of extended angle. There's actually a player close. Going to peek out, but I don't think they're going to expect Hera here on the right-hand side, especially if Little Z can take the contact. Peeks out, drops the first. That's the bomb as well for good measure. So the rotates are over thick and fast. One dies on the flanks, but I think, Squib, this bomb is got to be near unrecoverable. How do you get the bomb back in this position?
Yeah, it seems like there's a little bit of a miscomm as to where Hera is as well. Off sort of unaware. That A1S with all the crazy comms can be a bit difficult. You do know we'll find her. But no time to get the bomb down. So that's the round. 10th for MIBR. Well on their way to getting another super scary scoreline. It was the 10-5 that they finished the Vertigo first half. CT side that didn't go so well for them. So, you know, the precedents are all a bit weird here. But MIBR here and now on Overpass are looking pretty unstoppable.
Little Z as well in particular. She looks so comfortable on this CT side. Early round, mid round, late round. She knows her setup. She knows her angles. And thus far, I think only one round she's really got caught off guard. So that's pretty good going over a whole half of Counter-Strike. And no fear in terms of getting aggressive. Always taking these mid angles, telling her teammates, guys, there's nothing here on A. You can stay free B. There's no problems. Use your nades. And that's exactly what's happening. And you can just see how w7m are getting so penned in with all this information.
Ooh. Not going to land it this time, Little Z. Fly jump spotting away and a perfectly timed nade. And yet, still not very much damage. Only 6 onto Cara D Banana. Which I'm reliably informed means banana face.
According to Google Translate.
Well,
which isn't always the most reliable source.
Very true.
But if that is correct, it will make us feel good, but that doesn't feel good for Hera. That's for sure. 4 on 4. I guess she gets a bit of information. And actually, I feel bad for w7m because they don't know it. They're walking into a heavy stack here on the B-bomb site.
Yeah, absolute trap, isn't it? Fly hidden away at barrels, and they just have nothing to really deal with it. Here's you to back up, and then a flank for good measure. So not a chance of getting that bomb down. 11 hit here. Really solid stuff going into this final round of the first half. MIBR, a bit more of what I expected, to be honest, coming out here on Overpass.
Yes, just, I guess now with a little bit more perspective, seeing how the second map is played out, you've got to kind of ask, what was going wrong on CT side Vertigo? When Little Z is playing this well, and she was maybe not quite of this level, but she's still finding plenty opening picks on Vertigo. What was going wrong in those situations? Because right now, the setups look so clean. So few mistakes, so few opportunities for WSM, and in the last few rounds in particular, just reading them like a book. In no situation were they caught with bad rotations.
Lil Z opening up with the wall bang, though. Hera going to chime in, keeps pushing forwards to getting mega aggressive here in towards short. One-upping w7m. They go for some aggression. Well, we'll show you what true aggression really looks like. And now, so many players stacked on top of each other in towards B. Double for Hera. And just Cara remaining against 4. Technically 5, I suppose, to try and win out a 4th. It seems like an awful lot for not very much. So, yeah, going to be tough. certainly going to be tough. Kara moving in slowly. Spots one. Finished off quickly. 12-3 on the turn of the half. Goodness me. MIBR answering back massively here on their opponent's map pick. We'll see how half two looks in a few.
I've seen it all, got my scars down the road, been working hard to the bone, moving on, heavy load. Life is long, and don't you know, being wrong takes a toll. Wear you down to the bone. The things you love, they keep you going. Hold that brake, crack that whip, ride like lightning, go on, kid. Roll like thunder, break the sky, live it all up until the day you die. If I reach the end, find a place to rest my head, travel far down the road, moving on is all I know. Crack that whip, ride like lightning, go on, kid. Roll like thunder, break the sky, live it all up until the day you die. Crack that whip.
Second half underway. MIBR looking good. 12-3. Jumping into this one. Couple nades here on Little Z. As I don't know what's going on here in spawn. Whacking up the DPI on the changer. So hopefully it's looking good as we get into the second half. Scaling up now towards A with 5 players. Not looking to show themselves right at the start, so a little bit of a break here until any contact is found.
Yeah, certainly looking that way. Moving pretty quickly here, of course, on the MIBR side of things. And just playing that info game, they kind of saw w7m do this a little bit with some of their pistol rounds where, yeah, they just charge up and try and stay as far away from the sound cues as possible. Keen headshot onto Bruna. But left on 8 HP, the nade goes in, doesn't really do an awful lot for him. Kara going to be the first to find. Where have we seen this one before? I think they might have nicked this one from W7M. I got a feeling. However, man advantage looking pretty damn good. It's Topher coming in with a double from behind, and now just Hera left. It worked for W7M. Unfortunately, they look pretty prepared for that T-pistol.
Yeah, I think that's kind of expected. 39 seconds. Bomb is still down towards long, and needless to say, Hera's going to need to live up to her name to pull up this one, but no godlike plays. Out from Hera this time around, up to 4. A long way to take this one back. But I guess the first rung of that ladder certainly would have been a pistol round, and throw in there the MIBR haven't got a plant. They're just going to eco this one, so a good opportunity now to bank up some cash.
Yeah, the early AKs when you're this far ahead, I think it's certainly a wise move, right? You want to immediately get that pressure on. W7M really going to have to work. This CT side, I'm curious to see whether it is going to be a game all about the CT sides or whether MIBR can crash out pretty quickly. Well, this is a bit weird, isn't it? There's no one on A ready for the defense. They were expecting a bit more of a B play, perhaps. So the bomb's gone down far easier than it really should have done. I'm going to bolster the spy into the next round for sure. Couple kills for good measure. Nearly third, in fact. Maybe an opportunity at it, yeah. Little Z going to get it. M4 recovered. They are a bit split here as well. Do need to give respect to Cross. Flash coming in, tap onto the bomb with a kit will be all good. However, only 2 players remaining is very worrying moving into this first rifle, actually.
Yeah, that round was an absolute win for MIBR to come in with essentially nothing. Find a bomb plant, 3 kills, take away so much weaponry that, of course, is going to be reinvested into this one. The buy from W7M is not going to be perfect here. 2 FAMASs in play. You're lacking a little bit on utility. Plenty of kits, though, I guess, across the board, but the T-side buy is definitely stronger, and now there's massive reset potential. So MIBR, they could win this map right here and now if they just clean out this round.
Yep, looking to do that, I'm sure. Boost coming over to spot some information. Nothing really coming from it. You can kind of feel the tension on this one. Really, really, really passive play from both sides.
Stick around in this double balloon setup. Kara here taking first contact on the playground exit, and then the nice off angle here from Bruna. It's so hard to clear this. You're never peeking out for that sort of position, and of course, you're far from the wall and your right eye. You're always going to be advantageous in that peak unless, potentially a flashbang makes it more difficult, but we didn't see that one. I guess W7M playing their cards in nice setups.
We'll see, shan't we? It's not looking too bad early on, to be honest with you. So maybe a few more rounds on the T side, and we'd certainly be a bit more hopeful, but the 12-3 scoreline that we come into half two with, there's that degree of inevitability that I always like to mention. So MIBR should be able to work with that. Don't let the pressure get to them, I suppose. But this round not looking too good.
Save call. Certainly coming in. Money on the MIBR side, of course. Not looking great. Makes sense to save these guns over, and going into the next is all they're going to have. And even on that front, I think there's a pretty difficult buy decision here. What are you going to do around these saved weapons? Are you going to save into the next and have the money really out of balance? I guess you do, because the loss bonus is built up, but did Hera just die after time? That's a pretty big knock. Stay there at the end of the round.
Yeah, very nasty indeed. So it certainly affects the way that they're going to move in these future rounds. They're going to go somewhere down the middle for some of the players, a full spend for others. So the economy getting out of whack a little bit, but they have room to work with, I suppose. Kalak coming in for Kara, though, gives them far less. W7M definitely starting to heat up. Kara with a keen flick onto Little Z. Here we go. looking good as W7M are, you know, giving us a bit more to work with here in half number 2. The CT side looking a lot better.
Good openings. Good work from Kara, and what an amazing way to open up the round. And I guess we're looking at these MIBR players and saying 2v5. I guess you're never going to save the Tech 9 armor in this situation, but do you really try and save this AK for the entire round, or do you try and seek out some more opportunities? Oh, I thought it was going to be the double collapse. That would have been sensational. Just at the end, peeks out with a knife in hand. I guess she was due a bit of a mistake, but the 4K alone was brilliant.
Yeah, absolutely. Kizia then looking for a little more in this round. Not going to get it as she walks into the crosshair of Bruna backwards. 7th round coming in. W7M, you know, the gap's closing fast, it feels like. So MIBR are going to have to give us a little more to work with. And, you know, it's interesting, isn't it? Their setups look pretty good. They've definitely done some work there. Individuals across the board, like I say, much stronger for me. And we see that from the likes of Hera, Fly, and Little Z, the fragging prowess they're able to put up. But it is often the T side of a map where, you know, you maybe look a bit shaky, that things can fall apart. So we'll see. We're getting another rifle round. They can't win this one out. You know, W7M are not too far away from knocking on the door of evening things up, actually.
Double underpass. Kara's on the line, firing off a couple shots as Bruna picks up the slack, but Akinya there, she's well aware. She knows players are in towards underpass. They heard the sound cues. What's going on there? Didn't the player expect anybody else to be in towards underpass? Well, I guess ultimately the trades are going the way of MIBR. They need to reset, calm down, recover this bomb, and group up before hitting a site. Don't make this complicated.
Fly manages to get in from behind, though, and yeah, Bruna gonna fall. So the bomb looks pretty good for the A hit. Sofa's on the way. Juliana chilling on B still, waiting for a bit of an audible maybe to make the move. Flash comes over the top, buys a bit of time. Smoke will keep Topher out at Dumpster, and that's 100% where she was hoping to come from. So the bomb goes down cleanly, and now a 2v3 for W7M to recover. And it doesn't really look too fantastic. One flash to work with. Smoke going to dissipate perfectly for Fly. They line up even. Nearly gets the double, but not quite. Juliana then so much information deprived, and yeah, Pete comes in as soon as the nade is over. Hera finds the frag. That's the 13th for MIBR.
Yes, indeed. And I think, unfortunately, like we saw in the first map on Vertigo, that was a situation where I do think, unless MIBR were offering up frags, they should have saved. And again, they're kind of paying the price here with this investment. No AWP in play. SMG, Fanas on towards Juliana as well. So a fairly decent buy, but it could have been a tiny bit better. But in response, they're saying, guys, we've got this nice boost. Who needs the AWP when you got an amazing kind of unorthodox angle here over the flowers? And opening pick indeed goes the way of W7M.
Why? Trying to get a trade back. Oh, and I think Juliana falls on the top side, and well, Fly gets the double pretty easily. They're picking them apart now, aren't they? Yeah, the House of Cards effect, unfortunately. It looked pretty good in the build up to these rounds, but once Made in Brazil have got themselves some cleaner rifle buys going, they've looked much, much better. 14th should be able to come in pretty simply here.
I guess we'll see it in the replays potentially, but they just committed to that boost for far too long. After you find the pick, everyone knows if you've seen the bullets or you've seen a head where they're coming from. You can probably guess they're boosted in towards that spot, and they were fortunate enough that nobody had come up underpass, but when they tried to escape, you could just see all those Terrace players had already swarmed out of playground, and they just caught a little bit out of position. So it was a brilliant idea, but once you've shown your hand, you need to get out of there and think about a new position. So a small error, and it has dire consequences, and given the way this map is going now, If that wasn't the final nail in the coffin, it was the penultimate.
Yeah, definitely looks to be the case here. Map 3, very much on the cards. I'm interested. I'm very interested. W7M, they've got a bit more room to work with, but yeah, it's starting off in a very tough spot, like you mentioned. So yeah, map 3 feels all but inevitable for me, and you know, prediction game up in the air then, Alan. That's certainly the case, and kind of what we like, all the way down to the wire.
It would be too boring if I just won out 2-0.
Yeah.
We're just sandbagging, guys. W7M, we picked into Overpass just to throw it. Just to lose it intentionally and go into the third just to make Scriv look like an idiot when they 16 on the final map. That's the plan, that's the master plan, the 400 IQ player.
Okay, well, there you go. It's been written.
Angel TV confirmed.
Looking good here. MIBR, no real sweat off their brow in this one. There was, of course, a bit of a scary weapon that the AK gets dealt with. And everybody else also getting dealt with. Not a single point of damage coming in, so got to feel nice. A clean finish here on Overpass looks like it's going to be the case. At the very least, a clean 15th. Banana face. Oh, tagged. And finished. And there you go. A totally flawless round. Little Z with the 4K. Nice little padding of the frags. 25 in total. Really, really solid stuff. And yeah, I mean, W7M might need to show us a little bit more here, because Inferno, for me, is, you know, going to be difficult if they can't get momentum on their own map pick, for goodness sake. MIBR have come back, man, looking brilliant.
Yeah, and I think more concerning than the series going 1-1 or even losing their map pick is, I guess, the fashion of a lot of these rounds, where it just looks like MIBR are much more composed, making fewer mistakes. Potentially W7M, as I mentioned, going into this map, there is a risk of them getting a little bit flustered. Now they are essentially on, you know, match point map-wise. Of course, though, the way this map has gone so far, MIBR streaking so far into the lead. It's going to take 8 in a row just for overtime. It's a tall order. I've seen crazier results. But there is a huge mountain to climb for WSM to recover.
Kenya looking to find the perfect timing here from Shaw. Flashes herself out. Bit of a backup flash as well to work with. And, well, continuing down on B, at the very least, makes life difficult as the aim is drawn so far away from the initial attack. You're does well to find 2, but is it going to be enough? Little Z on that backside in towards short water, looking pretty solid. And it does feel that final nail continuing to get hammered in here. Retake smoke down, gives a bit of room for them to work with. They line up for the double spray down. It's just going to be Bruna left against 3. 43 HP against the remaining 2. And going to go for the hold. Getting close, but finished off. And Hera will find the final frag. And there you have it, MIBR. A pretty textbook victory, it feels like.
Strong recovery. Given the way that Vertigo ended, there was, you know, a lot of questions to be asked about how that CT side went. What went wrong? Why weren't we capitalizing on the entries of the AWP from Little Z? But this time around, cleaned up a few mistakes. CT setups looked brilliant. And going to the second half, the buffer was just enormous. As long as they didn't make, you know, catastrophic